As you may know by now, the coronavirus is moving incredibly fast. In fact, the last video I posted was about 11 days ago, and that was, if you should fly during the coronavirus right now, should you travel, should you cancel your trip? Guys, that was 11 days ago. That's when the number of cases in the US were 158, and now it's over 4,500. This is within 11 days. That's frightening, right? It's pretty crazy. So obviously, do not travel now. Um, I recently read a story on how airlines should be shutting down, and I'm surprised that they're not. Obviously, I know there's politics involved. I know there's stakes involved. Uh, Listen, like, I've spoke to a few friends who had to travel recently, and it was mostly because one was already on like a tour and they had to get home, like they were stuck. And then, all the people that were traveling through Europe trying to find a way to get home. um, I get it. I was in the Catskills, right, all last week, and I would have stayed there if I could have. Obviously, like, because of circumstances, like I couldn't pay an extra $80 a day for indefinitely, for the rental car. I couldn't. I was running out of medication. I only brought enough for, I have back issues, so I have to take certain medication. And I was running out, and I had to come home, and like, I only took what I needed for the 6 days that I was gone. So I understand how some people can be stuck in situations. So I think it's fair to say if you don't need to travel, if it's not an urgent issue, obviously don't do it. Don't travel. I mean, we all really need to just take this seriously and quarantine ourselves. And if you are like a young, healthy person, listen, it's not all about you, it's about the people around you. You could easily spread coronavirus without even knowing you do it. So it just kind of shocks me when I hear that people are crowding the beaches in Miami for spring break, when they're crowding Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Guys, this is pretty crazy. And the reason why that I feel like I have to say this, obviously most of you guys are really smart. You understand the gravity of the situation. But when I returned from the Catskills, I got back to New York, and in the East Village, I live in the East Village, it was as if nobody got the memo that there was a pandemic. There was so many people on the streets, likely because the weather was nice for the first time this past weekend. So there were so many people out, hugging and kissing, and there were kids and parents in the playground in Thompson Square Park. I'm like, oh my God, that's the worst place to be right now. There were people riding city bikes without wearing gloves. Like, come on, do you not get this? There were people sitting in cafes, restaurants, having brunch. I just feel like it shouldn't be said that you need to quarantine yourself to help slow down the virus, but I just feel like a lot of people are not getting the memo. So I think that it's important that people do it and quarantine yourself. I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know what to say. I feel like, everyone should be smart enough not to travel, not to leave their apartments, stay in as much as you can. I understand some people, like, have to go get medication, or, they ran out of, like, some sort of food and they have to get some food, and it's impossible to get food delivered. Like, I normally do Fresh Direct, which is home grocery delivery. They're booked out for weeks. Like, I can't even get a time slot. So I understand, like, people have to go out for like it's essential things, but just try to stay cooped up as much as you can, because it's not just you that you're putting yourself at risk, but it's everyone around you. So I have a pretty crazy story. If this doesn't convince you to stay at home, I don't know what will. I was talking to a friend yesterday. He basically has coronavirus. So this is why I can't say he has coronavirus, is because he hasn't gotten tested. He is starting to feel the symptoms. He has a dry cough. He's been coughing all the time. He is completely congested. But so we were talking on the phone. He said he spoke to his doctor, who told him, you have coronavirus. Do not go to the hospital. Do not go to the emergency room, because obviously, like, it's a hotbed of coronavirus. You're just going to get it if you don't have it. So based on the symptoms that he told his doctor, the doctor was like, okay, quarantine yourself for 14 days or longer. And if it gets any worse, if your symptoms get worse, like if you get a really high fever, if you can't get out of bed, if you're struggling, that's when you need to, go to the emergency room and take action. So the fact that he's at home untested, he's undocumented as someone who has coronavirus, think about that, and he lives in Harlem. Think about the hundreds of thousands of people in New York City who could have it, but we just don't know. So it's really important to take this seriously. I think it's very, very important. That's my only message for this video, is to take coronavirus seriously. Guys, like, sure, you might have to cancel, I canceled my dog's grooming appointment. I canceled my haircut, which is why I'm wearing a hat. I've canceled so many things because you want to be smart about this. Like, even the groomer, like I know dogs can't get coronavirus, even though they can, because one dog tested positive for coronavirus, but without any symptoms in Hong Kong. You just don't want to take that risk. Because they can still be carriers. Let's say I dropped her off at the groomer, and the groomer wore gloves and watched my dog the whole time, and at the end of it, she accidentally sneezed on my dog. That's on her hair, and I pet her, and then I have. People are freaking out right now. People are really anxious. People are scared. People are terrified. People are stressed out. I actually had my first troll ever. My first troll. It was on nextdoor.com. I there was a guy who posted something similar to about how East Village, he was shocked that there were so many people out. And so I just kind of chimed in and I said, oh yeah, I actually, wrote about this, and I took some photos while, I was out going to the pharmacy yesterday or whenever it was. And I posted that just so people could see like how kind of dumb people were just being out and about and touching each other and shit like that. Okay, and this one troll wrote something, I don't even remember what she was like, this sounds like a plug for your website. This isn't the time and place for this. It's like, what? So obviously I'm trying to help people here, and it is 1000% relevant to what he was saying. People feel so uncertain and so unconfident that they have a tendency to lash out to other people. So if you are going through any of these spats, like if you're like on social media, and I'm noticing this on all platforms of social media, so many people are fighting and arguing. And I don't think it's, okay, a lot of it is the Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders results that came out. But no, everyone, I feel like people are lashing out. I think people are fighting. Listen, we're all stressed out. We're all in this together. We're all we're going through the same thing. It doesn't help when people bring a certain kind of negativity. I know it's a really dark time right now, and I know that people are have a tendency to be negative, to lash out, to take their stress upon other people. But listen, like, don't let it bother you. Do not let any of these trolls get under your skin, because it's going to affect you. And so that's what they want. That's what trolls do. They try to get under your skin. They're so insecure about their lives that they try to bring other people down. So in terms of that, try to remain positive right now. Try to remain positive. Try to, be supportive of each other. Shit is already real, and there's so much stress in the world right now. Don't let one tiny, insignificant person like that get you down, because, it happened to my neighbor too. They had like a really strange and kind of, evil comment on one of their Instagrams, and I was like, what? Like, why? I guess that's it. That's it. That's all I wanted to say, is that be supportive. Don't travel. Shit is real right now. We don't know where this is going. We don't know how it's going to end. There's so much uncertainty in the world. So just take a deep breath, take it day by day, do everything you can to keep yourself safe and everyone you know safe, even people you don't know. So try to quarantine yourself. Let's get out of this together. Let's be really responsible and smart about it. Even me, obviously have been hit really hard by the coronavirus. I work in travel. Travel is basically dead right now. Um, Nobody's traveling. And I'm staying positive every day. I mean, what else can I do? Like, if I get sad about it, if I dwell on it, that does nothing. So try to be really positive right now. Take a deep breath, watch your favorite show, do some stupid things in your apartment that you've always wanted to do. I don't know, like put a hole in your wall. No, don't do that. Just try to make it out of this feeling good about yourself and keep knowing that you're keeping yourself safe and keeping others safe. Okay, yeah, so that's it. Great. Bye bye.